Welcome to another edition of football. Excuse me, I should say the first installment. Welcome to the very first show of Football Talk here. I am Chris Chavez, your host, and I was given full reins on this. I was given creative control on this first edition, and my producers told me to bring in a studio guest that would get things going. Bring in a studio guest with some knowledge on the game and some insight on the game. Somebody who's played the game. Somebody who would have something to say, and somebody who the audience and the listeners would gravitate towards. And there's only one person I can think of to fit that description, and I just wanted to ask everybody to put your hands together, unless you're driving out there. Give a warm welcome and welcome a really good friend of mine, somebody who's been around the game for a long time, none other than Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, how are you today?
Oh, well, I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. That's real kind words of you. Very kind words you say. I'm just honored to be here, and I want to talk. I want to talk football, and that's why you got me here. So let's get it going.
Let's get it going, indeed, Mr. Brown. Let's get it going, indeed. Well, let's just jump right into it then, Mr. B. First week of the NFL season's in the books. Anything stand out to you? Anything in particular that just kind of jumped out at you?
Well, just all them damn rookies out there playing football. It's crazy to think that somebody so young and inexperienced can go out there and play with men who've been playing the game for years and making a living at this game. And it's a testament to I don't know to what, but it's crazy. In my day, it took a person 2 to 3 years before they grasped the game of football, and another year or so before they became good and relevant, before people started knowing who they were. So, cool, man. It was magnificent watching these youngsters out there play the game.
Anybody in particular? I know you took a liking to Andrew Luck and at Stanford, but RG3 looked pretty good and unrookie-like, if that's a phrase or a word, in his first NFL game.
Oh, well, yeah. Andrew Luck has it all. And even in high school, I just remember seeing this young man play the game, and I just thought that he was going to be something great. Probably like the way people felt about Peyton Manning, just watching him grow up, and just knew that he was bound for something great in the NFL. Being from Houston and having the luxury of getting to see Andrew Luck play so often, it was one of them things where you pull for the young man and you wish him the best. He didn't have such a great game. He didn't have such a great debut, but I mean, it's a rookie, and it's one of them things that you just kind of expect. When on the other end, RG3, Robert Griffith III, he just had a magnificent game, and against a real test on the road in New Orleans, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I was pretty shocked at how easily he performed, and how easily he moved in the pocket and avoided pressure and got the ball downfield to his playmakers, and just how easy he made it look. And you would not have guessed he was the rookie, but he really has something going on up there in Washington.
Yeah, and a lot of people want to compare him to Cameron Newton. And the only difference between him and Cameron Newton is, RG3 won the game, and that's what you play the game for. You play the game to win, and if you don't win the game, then what the hell you doing out there? You're just running around like everybody else. So Cameron Newton put up a ton of yardage and almost won the game, but RG3 he won the game in convincing fashion and style points and all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to see this young man play for the rest of the year. Still gonna keep an eye on Andrew Luck. Most definitely. I will keep one eye on Luck and one eye on Robert Griffin III. Well, I wanted to touch on something, and that's just running backs. Running backs in the NFL. There was a time where every team had one running back that was good or great and that stood out from the rest, and now you have teams toting 2 to 3 running backs, and usually used to be a running back by committee was because you didn't have one running back to carry the load and to play the position. Now it's mandatory to have 2 to 3 running backs. I mean, it's almost, if you don't have 2 to 3 running backs, then you don't have a significant run game, and just about every team out there has at least 2 capable running backs, on their roster. Well, yeah, most definitely. I mean, the first team that come to mind is right here, Houston, in the Texans with Big Ben Tate and that big smooth Arian Foster running the ball like that. Arian Foster, if he wants a rest or get some breaks, Ben Tate comes in and he runs the ball well, and it almost doesn't miss a beat. Not quite the same running back as Arian, but you get the job done last year when Arian was out for a couple games. Ben Tate did pretty damn well, and and vice versa. Say Ben Tate, needs to get a break or whatever. You plug Arian Foster right back in the game, and you just keep on rolling like a stone. So it's mandatory to have 2 to 3 running backs these days if you want to establish a significant not significant, if you just want to establish a pretty good ground game. Now, Mr. Brown, you played and ladies listeners, if you're just joining us, Chris Chavez, here in studio, first edition of Football Talk, and in studio guest is Mr. Brown, and I want to thank him for taking the time out of his busy day to come in and talk some football with us. I know he loves it just as much as I do, so thank you, sir. I keep calling him Mr. Brown because that's the only name I've ever known him as, and he's never told me his first name, and I don't plan on it either. I'm taking that to the grave. He won't tell me his first name, so we're going to call him Mr. Brown. He will let me get away with Mr. B, so for sure, call him Mr. B. Mr. Brown, so we're talking about running backs, and you mentioned Arian Foster and Ben Tate. You played the position back in your day. How has it changed from when you played the game until now? What's the biggest difference you've seen? Oh man, that's a good question there. I would say, you hit it. The biggest difference is just the size of these men running the ball. I mean, I was considered a rather big running back for my day, and I'm only 5'9", 200 plus pounds right now, and put on a little weight over the years. So in my prime, I was about 5'9", 185, 175 pounds. That today, that's not big enough to play cornerback for a lot of teams. So, or maybe a special teamer or something. But Arian Foster was 6 foot, 230 pounds, and Ben Tate's damn near the same size. So just the sheer size of some of these running backs. I mean, you think of a running back like a Brandon Jacobs or Jerry McFadden running 4.4 40s, and it's crazy to think somebody that big can run a ball and do it so well. So that's probably the biggest difference is the size of these running backs these days. What about the speed of the game? Well, the speed of the game is what it is. I mean, you either run ready for it or you're not. The NFL is the NFL. So if you're not ready to run the ball with these grown men out there, then you're just not gonna be ready. I mean, whether it's 1950 football, 1970, or 2012, I mean, the NFL is the best pro football players in the world, and that's just the way it's always been. That's the way it's always going to be. So not much has changed as far as that's concerned.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. I'm getting dirty looks from my producers. We gotta hit the break. Coming back on the other side, we're gonna talk a little bit more about running backs and a little trash talking with Mr. Brown, in studio guest, good friend, great man. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a couple words from our sponsors. I'm Chris Chavez. This is Football Talk.